conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
In the Ferrari or Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down, screaming out, money ain't a thing.
Bubble hard in the double law, flashing the rings with the window crack. Holla back, money ain't a thing.
Jigga, I don't like it if it don't gleam. In the hell with the price, but the money ain't a thing.
Put it down hard for my dogs that's locked in the bang. When you hit the bricks, new whips, money ain't a thing. Come on.
Yeah, I wanna floss with us. Come on. All across the board, we burn it up. Drop a little paper, baby, toss it up. Slacking on your pimpin', turn it up. See the money ain't a thing.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses, highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs, and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
Still going strong with our commitment to building wealth, with socially innovative purpose as much as possible. So it's not just wealth for wealth's sake, it's wealth for community sake and for families. I'm so happy to welcome in an entrepreneur along those lines. Hart In The House is the name of the company. They're an emerging real estate company. It's a family-based business, and it's actually become a staple. They say they understand that purchasing a home is the largest, most monumental investment a family makes in a lifetime, and they aim to help you do it. Craig Hart, welcome.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thank you, Dominique DiPrima.
I see you have your Hart In The House shirt. Your branding, if you want to see him, he's in the studio. Thanks for coming in, by the way. It's always much more fun to talk to folks when I get to do so face-to-face.
I wasn't sure if they'd actually see me, but it's a pleasure being here, and I'm looking forward to this excursion.
Yeah, well, they can't see you if they're listening on the landline or on the app. We have a KBLA 1580 app, but if they're streaming on YouTube, they can definitely see you, and we're glad to have you here. So the real estate business is a tough business, and it's very up and down, I guess, according to how the economy goes and the interest rates and all of these different factors. But this is something you guys are really dedicated to.
Absolutely. And what happens is you just have to channel in on those that you can help at the time of the market, because everybody can't always be helped. Like in the market that we're in now, with rates being as high as 6.5%, the average family can't afford to buy a home that, in the different areas, like, for example, in LA County, the average home is selling for a median price home, I would say, is about $800,000.
Woo!
Yeah, that's $800,000, and that might even be a home that you don't necessarily like. It's just something that you buy so you'll have a residence.
Right, is what they call a starter house or whatever. That's crazy. It's almost $1 million for a starter house in LA. But this is something you guys are dedicated to. Why is this your mission, Hart In The House?
Well, home is, our last name is Hart, so we keep emotions in every transaction that we do. And home is, we find the house that we allow the families to come in and make it a home over time. So the average family gives us a list of things that they want in a home. We can usually get about 70% of that, if that. The family has to come in and make the difference. And over the years, what we've seen is people buy houses, and they've absolutely made them homes in a place that you would love to be.
I know that during the Bush crash of 2008 and during COVID 2020, a lot of Black homes were lost, a lot of home ownership, which is really the wealth engine for most families, not just Black families, all families in this country. Are we bouncing back from that?
The African American community is still at the bottom of the totem pole in regards to home ownership. And that's why we are always striving to increase that percentage. But it's real.
I love what you said, which is because the market's changing, conditions are changing all the time. You help who is helpable at that moment.
That's all we can do. You have to prioritize because everybody can't be helped all the time.
Right, but they might hold on for another cycle, and in that cycle, they might be able to make that move.
Absolutely. So we always encourage you to keep the credit straight, continue to save, and just stay ready. Because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Right, keep the credit straight and continue to save. Those
Absolutely.
are your two pieces of advice.
The biggest things. That's what the banks look for. They're looking at everything is based on ratios. So, I mean, we have a multitude of products that we can offer, we are with our team partners, but most banks are chocolate and vanilla. That's what I call most banks. But then you also have like a 31 flavor type of option out there, and those are programs that we usually use in our community a lot because we have to kind of custom cut each transaction that we
Get creative to make it work.
Absolutely.
When you say products, you're talking about loans and
Yes.
insurance and all the things one needs to get a home.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember when I bought my home. It was a long time ago. I was scared because I just thought I can't afford to buy a home. It was just I just had that in my head, and when I added up what I was actually paying in rent, and my husband at the time, what he was paying in rent, actually, we were probably paying more than a mortgage between the two of us before we got married. And I think a lot of us are doing that because rents are so high.
The average consumer, once they really sit down and talk to us and crunch numbers, and they come to that realization, because it's a fear factor. But once they really look at everything, is cheaper to buy. In addition, rent is just like throwing money in the hole. You don't get anything for it. Even if you buy a house and you don't make any money, at the end of the year, you get to write off a percentage of that. You get to write off on your taxes.
Interest, yeah, your mortgage
So
interest.
you, at worst case, you would be able to retain every penny that you've paid monthly on the sale, because each time you make a payment, the mortgage balance is reduced.
Right.
So your equity, even if the equity doesn't increase, you'll still retain that. That's almost like putting money in the bank. So if you sell it and you pay $10,000 into the house, that's $10,000 that you'll recoup when you sell the property. But in LA, well, we know what properties have been doing. They've been appreciating at an exorbitant amount, and most people are almost treating it as a casino.
Yeah, the problem with that is then if you sell it, where do you go? Because you still have to buy something here. Unless you're moving to, Guam or somewhere, I guess, Arizona, somewhere a little cheaper.
In the last 5 years, this is the first time that we've seen people exiting California. When they did, Caltrans did studies, they were showing more folks leaving California than ever in the history of America, or the tracking. And folks were going new places like Texas was probably the newest.
Right. But then you got to live in Texas.
That part.
I'm just saying.
That part. Yeah. It's no place like L.A.
But the thing about it is, why is that if that's the case, then real estate should be going down. May have to turn off that, everybody's trying to text you right now. I might have to turn off the notification. Why aren't prices going down? I see them building everywhere. People are supposedly leaving, but home prices are not decreasing.
This is still la.
Yeah.
Out of all the places that a person could live, this is L.A., and who wouldn't want to be here? I mean, you can go skiing in the morning and home at dinner on the beach in the same day. Well, where like an average person would go, drive 3-4 hours to do whatever we do, and just on a regular basis. This is, who wouldn't want to live in L.A.?
So you said, save your money. You're talking about a down payment, of course.
Yes.
And there are other costs too. I mean, there's the house that you're going to have, do appraisals. You're going to have to fix up certain things or buy certain things when you get into it. And then credit score, which, is one of the stereotypes about us is that we don't have good credit.
And that's not true. But once a person is introduced to the concept of paying bills down and keeping balances under 35% or whatever your limits are, and always paying more than they request, and they learn how to do it, then things get things get better.
Yeah. So what is it that makes Hart in the House, your company, unique? For those people that are experiencing the kind of heart palpitations, sweaty palms, or just fear about the thought of buying a home. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's one of the best things I did in my life is finally getting myself over that and getting a home. But what do you have to say to those folks that are freaked out by the idea?
You need someone that can hold your hand and walk with you through the storm. I like it. I like to think that with me and my son, I have a little quote. I say, my son is 34, so he's computer savvy, and I'm in my 60s. So you get the best of both worlds. And I've been in the business over 30 years, and he's been in the business now, wow, I guess over 15 years. And so you get both perspectives. Buying a home is a lot, but you want someone that's going to be with you for the full ride. And we hold your hand. And Hart in the House, everybody has a heart, and we always get to the heart of the matter. I say big or small, we do it all, but we can't help it if you don't call. And with us, you get the father and the son. They get it done, have a lot of fun, and you get two for the price of one.
And apparently you get some poetry on the side.
Well, I've been doing this for a while, so the elevator works.
So get our credit together, get our money right, and wait for the right moment to get on the wave.
And for example, the market won't wait for you. So when you are ready to pull the trigger, pull the trigger. And for example, I sold a property to my sister. We made 5 offers. Within those 5 offers, she lost the bid on each one of the deals, total $15,000 out of 5 different properties, because she was just trying to be, she wasn't aggressive.
She was being fiscally conservative.
Extremely. She ended up getting, what happened was one of the properties fell out of escrow, and the listing agent called us back because he liked our offer, and we were able to close in like less than 30 days. But once you get in the market, do your homework. But when you're in the market, be in the market. You can't be halfway in, halfway out.
Get in, get 10 toes down, and get you a house.
You got to get it.
All right. And I guess my question is, if people want to get in touch with you, is it, I'm ready, let me call you, or is it, I can call you and you can help me get ready to be ready?
There are all kinds of scenarios. I have some clients that call, it might take 5 years to buy a house. Some 3, some 2, some are ready when they call you. They just need someone that's going to work with them and be aggressive in the market.
So you can handle any stage of readiness.
Big or small, we do it all. But we can't help if you don't call.
We can't help if you don't call. I think we might need to take, Miles, might need to take that. You can't talk if you don't call. So tell us how to reach you.
HartInTheHouse.com.
HART.
HART in the house.com. And we're on all the social networks. You can get us that way.
Hart in the House.
Hart in the House.
HART.
Hart in the House.
So reach out, and I guess your son's managing all that, because you say
absolutely.
He's the online guy.
Absolutely.
HartInTheHouse.com.
And his name is Cam Hart.
Cam Hart. Okay. Well, Craig and Cam Hart, and nice meeting you, and congratulations on your business, your success, and I hope folks will continue to patronize you.
Please do. And again, the father and son, they get it done. We'll have a lot of fun, and you get 2 for the price of 1.
What? All right. That's our Wealth Building Wednesday segment for today. Hope you will, y'all say you want Black-owned businesses. We're bringing them. Socially innovative businesses, we're bringing them. Hart in the House is one. HartInTheHouse.com. Perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. I'm back. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hey man, hey, what's up? What's that station you listening to? Oh man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio, KBLA 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us, and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Conversation continues right now. I wanted to note that Hart In The House, the realtors, He was just here, hartinthehouse.com, H-A-R-T. They're located in the city of Inglewood, for those on the West Coast, 1621 Centinela Avenue in the city of Inglewood, in case you're one of those people that doesn't want to go on social media or on the website, that just wants to go in person. So we're at 161 people are still missing in the one county in Texas there after those flash floods. And probably the death toll will keep rising. The governor there says they're at the point now where it's highly unlikely that more survivors will be found. Verified dead, 111 people. And it's just very, very devastating and terrible and sad. And I hope that we will, as a result of this tragedy, that the president will rethink this idea of eliminating FEMA, and leaving cities, counties, and states to their own devices, because all of us are paying into that fund that pays for FEMA. And that's part of what government is there for, to be a backstop for terrible tragedies like this. The Trump administration has gotten the green light from a judge to go ahead and fire all those folks. This was something that was happening under the president's now enemy, Elon Musk. The courts had ordered it stopped back in May. This is from more than 24 federal agencies, some of them in different phases of offboarding people, some paid folks out. And so this is now going to go ahead. So more people without jobs, hopefully. I try to find the silver lining here, the consciousness, because I feel like the power of the people is what wins here, and it has to be activated, and that means we can't be afraid. We've got to be bold. We've got to be fearless. We've got to be ready to focus on what we want and not what we don't want. This decision is that the Trump administration, Supreme Court says, can go ahead with mass layoffs. And the thing about it is that I guess what's happened is that the courts are saying you can move forward with the layoffs even before we rule on whether or not they're legal. And this is all part of an executive order that the president made in February, calling for people to get fired from almost every single agency that we have. And the reason that they're still on those jobs, a lot of people, is because, or at least maybe they're getting a check even if they're not on the job, or they're getting health benefits, is because this legal limbo. And I imagine the stress of that situation. You have your job, or you're getting a paycheck, or you're getting benefits, but you don't know what's going to happen. And now the Supreme Court says, yes, this is coming out of a lawsuit brought by labor unions, that that the president can move forward. Department of Health and Human Services, for example, 10,000 people were laid off on April 1st. And that's just one agency. So we're talking about potentially hundreds of thousands of workers. The judge in a federal district court said that the government didn't have the authority to do that. Congress holds the purse strings, but the Supreme Court yesterday says, yes, they do. They do have the authority to do it. And this fight will continue about whether this is constitutional, but guess what? Folks are going to start losing their jobs, more folks. And I believe that because this is not what people thought they were voting for. They thought waste and corruption, not my job, not the people that, are helping people get Social Security or SNAP, or the people that are working to make sure that civil rights claims or worker injury claims and such are moved through the system, not those folks. So I believe that people are going to continue to wake up and continue to make change. The XAI, that's Elon Musk's artificial intelligence firm, says they're working to get rid of inappropriate posts. Its chatbot, which is called Grok, was praising Hitler and going on anti-Semitic rants, and it was widely reported. They say they're working to remove it, and even the ADL was angry. They said it was irresponsible, dangerous, and anti-Semitic. Surprise! This is the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and we do have, trying to get caught up here after our trip to the motherland, we do have a lot to talk about.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump is brushing off questions about Jeffrey Epstein, calling them a waste of time.
This guy's been talked about for years. We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
This comes after a Department of Justice report found no client list and ruled Epstein's 2019 death a suicide. Former TV Judge Joe Brown and Alex Jones claim Trump may be hiding Epstein files to use against the deep state. Despite Trump's past ties to Epstein, he's called him a creep. Critics, including Elon Musk, say President Trump's silence fuels conspiracy theories. And Baltimore hits a 50-year low in homicides, just 68 through June. Black Mayor Brandon Scott credits the nearly 23% drop to treating gun violence as a public health issue with help from community groups, police, and residents. He says there's still more work ahead. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A rough night for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers lost their fifth straight game. They went down 3-1 at Milwaukee. Milwaukee rookie pitcher Jacob Mizorowski had 12 strikeouts in 6 innings. The Angels were routed at home 13-1 by Texas. The Lakers introduced new center DeAndre Ayton Tuesday at a press conference. Ayton, the number 1 pick in the 2018 NBA draft, signed with the Lakers 2 weeks ago as a free agent. The 26-year-old Ayton has career averages of 16.4 points, 10.5 rebounds, and a 59% shooting percentage. The men's basketball teams at Hampton and North Carolina A&T were selected to play in the 2026 NBA HBCU Classic during All-Star Weekend. The NBA All-Star Game is February 15th at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or AD. But did you know that black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio. KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. So aside from having a chat bot that praises Hitler, which is now known as Grok, and a Nazi salute that he swears was not a Nazi salute, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX is now starting a party, supposedly starting a political party, the America Party, I think it's called. But what does that really mean? Starting a party is a huge undertaking. I thought it was rather ironic that Andrew Yang, of all people, would offer to help Elon Musk. Andrew Yang had that universal basic income program that he had as part of his presidential run, and surely that's not something that Musk would support, although I guess they're both tech bros, so there's that. And Musk says he's getting offers of help from the Libertarian Party as well as the Forward Party, but those are both little tiny blips on the graph, right? He would need a whole operation. He would need a level of political engagement, which he's never done before. He claims that they're going to step up in the midterms. Maybe they'll target some Republicans. Surely he's trying to upset Trump. And Andrew Yang's excuse for supporting Musk is anyone who wants to challenge the duopoly has a friend in me. The duopoly, the uniparty, it's lingo from the left and the right, which basically says the Republican and Democratic parties are similar. And I understand that in terms of their corporate structure, but not in terms of policies, not at all. What we know for sure is that Musk will probably target a few Republicans and pick them off. It could be a problem for the Republicans in the midterms if he does that, but I don't know. I mean, look, this is the time to build a third party if you want one, right? I've said that to folks on the left that are sick of Democrats. Okay, well, you want to build a party, don't do it during the presidential. Start it now, or build on what you have with some energy right now. Don't wait to just be a spoiler in the next election. And yeah, a lot of these folks talk a big talk, but they don't necessarily walk the walk. He would have to get thousands of signatures from voters in just one single state to get on a ballot there. So multiply that by 50 states. He has the money, clearly. And then who's going to align with you? Who are your poster boys and girls? I mean, I think Musk has done a pretty thorough job of trashing his own image on the left and the right. We'll see. There's still people that think he's a genius. Let's go to Big Phil calling us from L.A. Hi, Big Phil.
Morning. I'm glad you guys made it back. I'm sure you had fun. No doubt about it. I'm sure you had fun out there.
We had fun. We learned a lot. And yes, we made it back.
I'm so glad, sister. The devil don't sleep. It's a mess. I mean, this ice stuff is getting ridiculous. These people run like jackrabbits around here. They losing their business. It's terrible, Dominique. It is downtown like a ghost town flower shop. Unbelievable.
You're saying because of the ICE raids?
Yeah, I mean, how they treating the people is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just jumping out, just come on. You just rude. That downtown is ridiculous, like a ghost town. Like not coming to work no more. People losing their jobs, more in the streets. So we got a lot to be thankful that we own property in L.A. We got a lot to be thankful for. But I won't keep you guys too long. For me, I tell you other stuff next time when I talk to you. But you made it back safe. Enjoy your life. Don't get caught up a lot of this politics stuff. Enjoy yourself more with your family. It's okay to talk about it. Don't get caught up with all this. Let God handle it, okay?
I think that's great advice, Big Phil. We have to know what's going on, but we don't have to be so caught up in it that's raising our blood pressure, and we forget to enjoy our lives. Yes.
That's not a problem. Okay. God bless you guys. Be careful down there. Talk to you later.
Absolutely, you too. Thank you, Big Phil. Great advice from Phil today. Enjoy yourself. Tap in with your family, loved ones, friends. Yeah, it's there's a whole Trump train wreck going on, but this ain't going to last forever. Trouble don't last always. Not only that, the power of the people continues to prevail. We're seeing it time and time and time again. How do we have people power? We have to stay renewed and recharged, plugged in with our family, do something new, learn something new, try something unusual that you enjoy. How about sleep? That's always helpful. Meanwhile, in just about an hour, a little over an hour, it'll be lunchtime in Washington, D.C., President Donald Trump is hosting leaders of 5 African countries. He wants to discuss commercial opportunities. That's what he says. Interesting, though, because the United States has cut so much aid to Africa. Business development aid, health and human services aid, the HIV and AIDS support. And America, I can feel it, because I can compare to 2016 compared to now. We're not Africa's favorite right now. And it's interesting, the countries that are coming: Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal. When you talk about business opportunities, Ghana is the fastest growing economy. No shade to any of this of the countries on that list. Nigeria is the most populous, the most people. Those are the 2 powerhouses as far as economics right now in Africa. Yeah, there are others. South Africa is formidable. But he's fighting with all those countries, defunding them and fighting them. Of course, notably South Africa criticizing Israel and their role in Gaza, taking them to the World Court, and Trump punishing them diplomatically, and then importing apartheid-era white supposed farmers. I say supposed because South Africans are questioning whether these folks are really farmers, because they're saying most farmers are not going to leave their lands and the posh way they're living in South Africa to come here as refugees. So who knows? Whoever these folks are, they're white folks from South Africa. They're here. A lot of the Western African nations, Burkina Faso, they're aligned. And so they're kicking Westerners out. So, of course, they're not going to be on the list. And then they're the ones that either don't have stable governance or they have another conflict with the U.S. They're part of BRICS. They're not in alignment on Ukraine or on Gaza. So all of those Sahel states, the Niger, Burkina Faso, they won't be there. Mali, they're not coming. And it's interesting, but maybe not surprising that Senegal is coming, because after all, there was recently a lot of oil discovered in Senegal. And when I saw that, I felt like crying, because I knew it was the beginning of the pressure for that country from Western nations, right? Instead of being a beautiful, sleepy, coastal West African country filled with friendly people, devout Muslims. Almost zero AIDS and HIV because they're so strong in their family values there, their traditional ways. Beautiful country with delicious food. Oh no, now they found oil. And so here comes all the international corporations wanting to own you, colonize you, ruin your environment. But I think the Trump administration is feeling like they need to counteract China. Well, should have thought of that before you defunded everything and literally made people die because they can't get their HIV medication. There are 55 countries in Africa. You're having an African leaders luncheon at the White House, and you invited 5. You're only on good terms with 5 African nations out of 55. Liberia is one of those nations. They call it a high-level summit. Yeah. Those are great countries. I've only visited, of those 5, I've only visited Senegal. Loved it. That's actually a place that I could live. That's how much I loved it. But none of the big dogs are in the room. South Africa. Huge country. Nigeria. More people than anyone on the continent. Egypt. A global player, and especially right now in the conversation that's going on in Gaza. You would think you would want to have Egypt in the room. Ethiopia. Nope. None of those were invited. That's what Liberia says. None of those were invited. They're members of BRICS, which is founded by Brazil, India, and Russia and China. BRICS countries are now being threatened with even more tariffs because they supposedly support anti-American policies. You don't get to control other countries' policies. Well, I guess they're trying. But he wants business deals. It's interesting you want business deals, but even you don't even invite Ghana, the fastest growing currency against the dollar at the moment. He picked nations with, I'm sure they have a lot to offer. I've never been to those countries, but they're not powerhouses on the continent. I know Mauritania is a big tourism spot. Liberia, of course, founded, as a place where Black Americans could repatriate to the continent. Gabon, I don't know as much about. But, he's 88 deals short on his tariff deals, right? We're supposed to have 90 tariff deals. He has 2 half-baked ones, and 88 not done. The deadline is passed. He keeps moving the goalposts. And he wants to show that we have more influence than China or Russia in Africa. And I feel like we've basically thrown that possibility out the window by pulling aid that people have relied on to keep people from dying of AIDS and HIV, to keep the spread of other diseases in check, to fortify countries where we've gone in and done damage. But most of the big dogs in Africa are now part of BRICS, or they want to be part of BRICS. And so they are not invited to the table. Be interesting to see what comes out of this, though. And there's something, I don't know, there's something pending, because now all of a sudden they're not ish-hole countries anymore. Now they're people that you want to invite to lunch. What does that mean? It sounds like a lot of too little, too late. Africa has tremendous business potential, Trump said in a meeting back in 2017. But since that time, he's alienated all those folks he was talking to, and he's just invited 5 tiny nations. Hopefully something good will come out of it. I am here for that. 800-920-1580. It's the perfect time to call me. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this right here, this is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
LA County's Justice Care and Opportunities Department, also known as JCOD, is changing the justice system for Angelenos. If you or someone you love has recently been arrested, come home from jail or prison, or has been justice involved, JCOD can help. We offer access to housing, employment, court reminders, clothing, education, and more. At JCOD, we believe your life should not be defined by your worst moment, and everyone deserves a second chance. JCOD's Justice Connect Support Center is open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Call us at 833-LAC JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit us at jcod.lacounty.gov. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube at LAC JCOD. All services are free and confidential. JCOD serves the justice-impacted population all across LA County. Your future isn't behind you, it's waiting. Reach out by calling 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit jcod.lacounty.gov. It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
And I'm feeling really sad for Texas. I told you I'm reading The Parable of the Sower. If you consider yourself to be a member of the Baraka Book Club, you can read it too. Maybe at some point we'll talk about it. This is my very informal rollout of the book club I started in memory of my dad. That's an Octavia Butler book, and set in 2024. And it seems to be, really is like reading some of what's going on now. Of course, she wrote it, I think, back in the 80s. And that's one of the things that these floods in Texas reminds me of, because just it talks about what happens when the climate emergency plays out and the government deteriorates. And Trump has approved disaster aid for Kerr County quickly. In fact, the governor was thanking him for that. But it's funny because the same governor, Governor Greg Abbott, was one of the people who said we should end FEMA. He supports ending FEMA. But on the other hand, he's over here thanking President Trump for giving him FEMA money really quickly. Billions of dollars. But this is the same Trump and the same Greg Abbott that say states should take on more of their own responsibility for responding to extreme weather. You want us to respond to floods and disasters, but you want to send in the National Guard to arrest people that work at car washes. Make it make sense. You want us to spend federal dollars and military resources to terrorize children at graduations who might have expired paperwork or who may have been declared illegal the day before when you rescinded their TPS status or protected status. But you don't want to use federal expertise, troops, equipment to rescue babies out of floods. This is ass backwards. It doesn't make sense. Greg Abbott was the one who said FEMA is slow and clunky and doesn't solve the needs of those who need it the most. Funny. When it's your state, you're going, oh yeah, thank you FEMA for being quick and responsive. States have proven that we can move more nimbly, more swiftly, more effectively, except for when we don't, which is almost always. Our federal government got a lot of problems. But one thing they're really good at, moving money. Taking it from you if you owe taxes, boy, they will find you and swipe it right out your bank account. Or giving it to you. We saw it during COVID with the so-called stimmy checks. They'd find you. They'd get you that check or deposit it into your account. The government is good at that. It's one of the things they have the infrastructure to do. Not all states do. They also have massive military and equipment that comes in handy when people are being swept away by floodwaters or their homes are on fire. And I want us, we the people, to force these folks to face their hypocrisy. Oh, you love FEMA when you need it. But when California needs it, it's a problem. When New York needs it, it's a problem. We're all human beings. People in every state, whether they're wearing MAGA socks or cowrie shells. We are all human beings, and we're part of one nation. We all pay a lot into that kitty. And one of the main things that we have government for is saving people when they can't save themselves from natural disasters. Building roads, the commons, keeping the whole place from burning down. Those are the things that make me willing to pay taxes. Okay, I'll have a road to drive on, a fire department to keep my house from burning when my neighbor's house catches on fire or my neighbor's house from burning when mine does. Well, there'll be someone there in case of emergency, a backdrop, a backstop. And so I'm hoping, praying, and believing that the level of overreach combined with the level of hypocrisy continues to wake people up. A light bulb go off. Or even, if you don't wake up, whatever it is that moves you. To say, nah, I think we do need a federal emergency agency to help folks, whether it's Hurricane Katrina or Kerr County. I think we do need that. I think that's why we pay our taxes. I think that's why we are all connected as human beings, as Americans, but as human beings. One of the reasons why President Sheinbaum of Mexico sending in help for people in Texas is so touching. We're over here attacking her, kicking her citizens out, and they respond with a humanitarian gesture because we're human beings. And the bottom line is we're meant to be there for each other. And the richest nation in the world should have the capacity to save people from floods and fires and quakes and droughts. That's the whole point. For me, it's the whole point. Certainly the whole point is not more and more and more war. That's not the reason. And to be clear, Russia attacked the Ukraine with 700 drones yesterday after Trump said, we're going to send them some weapons after all. To be clear, we are spending massive amounts of money on war in Gaza and Ukraine. Other places that we don't talk about as much. Iran, Yemen. But we, the people, the power of the people, and the fact that folks are getting more conscious, getting more aware of how we fit in to the whole puzzle of planet Earth. That's good news. People are not as gullible as they used to be. And I believe that these crazy moves, undoing FEMA at a time when, you have this kind of disaster, which seems to not even be unusual anymore. Fires in California, 6 months later, floods in Texas. What's happened in the interim? It's so simple. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a Democratic or Republican strategist to break it down. When folks' homes are getting swept away, when their children are drowning, when their communities are burning, we, the people of the United States, need to be able to step in and pool our resources to help. It's one of the things that does actually make America great. And I think most people will understand that. And once again, the power of the people prevails. Looking forward to my conversation next hour. You're invited to join. Dr. Tavari Brown will be with us. She's a nationally recognized health educator, professional counselor, and former CDC leader. That's next, after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump is brushing off questions about Jeffrey Epstein, calling them a waste of time.
This guy's been talked about for years. We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
This comes after a Department of Justice report found no client list and ruled Epstein's 2019 death a suicide. Epstein, he's called him a creep. Critics, including Elon Musk, say President Trump's silence fuels conspiracy theories.